Okay, let's make some herbal waters. And so what we're doing here is we're setting up your herbal kitchen so that there's going to be so many little junctures and spaces where people are going to get herbs into their body that just when they walk into your kitchen, they're going to be herbified, right? So I'm really into super simple, low, like easy impacts that over time add up. And this one, you got to get it started. You got to get it started so people get used to it. And it's basically really simple. It's about adding herbs and maybe some seasonal fruit to your water. And you might think like, well, okay, well, what's the big deal about that? So it does two things. Number one, it gets people used to having green chunks of things in their drinks. And so if you're one of those people that you still get the eye rolls and everybody in your family is like, oh God, the herbal thing, you got to get them on board. You got to get them used to it. And so by having a hydration station or a refreshment station where every day, day after day, day after day, they're going to be served drinks, water, with herbs in it, they get used to it. They get used to having green stuff in their teeth, and they just get used to the whole, oh yeah, we decorate our water with herbs. The other purpose that this serves is that we are setting up a hydration station in your kitchen. So as I start talking about this, I want you to think about where you can set this up in your house. Like, where is it that people come home and they're like, I'm thirsty, I want something to drink. Or when you come home from the store or school or from, soccer practice, whatever, that like people come home and they refresh and they rehydrate. And what this does is it helps to create rhythmic drinking. And what do I mean by that? So what most people do is they sit down to lunch or dinner and 2 or 3 or 4 glasses of water later, they're like, oh, good, I'm not thirsty anymore. But see, you don't want to get your major liquid hydration while you're eating. You want to think of your stomach it's like a pot of soup, and it's cooking, your stomach is cooking all the food in it. And if you keep pouring water into it, it just keeps diluting the digestive enzymes. It keeps diluting the stomach's ability to really cook your food and prepare your food for the rest of the body to use it. And so you really don't, up to 1 glass of liquid with your meals. That's really optimum. And you see people sitting down and just really getting their hydration at a meal. And so what this does, it helps train people, your family, the people you live with, to drink your fluids, your water in between meals. So you walk into the kitchen and you've got one of these herbed waters, you're like, oh yeah, time to hydrate. So you get this rhythmic hydration, like, you come into the kitchen, you're not eating, or you walk through this part of the house, and it's like, oh, there's something beautiful to drink, and you hydrate in between meals. So those two things actually over time really have a big impact on your health. Drinking a lot of your fluids with your meals really, it affects your digestion and it hinders your digestion. And so being trained to, really hydrate in between meals over time, it really has a major positive impact on your health. So what this is you're setting up a place in your house where, so what I do is I usually set up the water the night before, unless it's really hot and then it kind of goes bad by the next day. So I'll either set it up the night before or I set it up first thing in the morning so that it's just there all day. And it just consists of putting a few leaves of fresh herbs and whatever seasonal fruit you have. And so I'm going to just demonstrate 3 ways that I do that. It's super simple. And it's also just nice to have something refreshing, like when you come home, that's beautiful and colorful. So here we go. Ready? Don't blink, because this is way too easy. So first, the combinations are endless, especially, I live in an area where it's a massive, there's just so much fresh fruit all year. And so each season I use different fruit. Okay. Are you ready? So this one, I'm doing pomegranate and fresh basil. And you just come in, you put your leaves in and your fresh fruit, and you let that sit for a couple hours and let the vitamins and the minerals this is also just increasing your vitamin and mineral content. And sometimes I'll even put in like a cinnamon stick, or I don't usually do both, but I'll put in a cinnamon stick or a star anise pod. And you know, that's really it. And then when people come in to the kitchen, they come into this, like here it is right here. And you know, if you're just starting out, they may just totally pass it up, right? But if it's there day after day and you're drinking it, pretty soon they'll do it. And now when we have guests, when I see it, it's really amazing. When we have guests coming over, my son is out in the garden picking the mint, my husband's, and they decorate our water. Anytime we have guests, like they are the ones now that decorate the water. Okay, so see, just super simple, but you've got the digestive benefits of basil, you've got the memory enhancing benefits of basil, super simple. You know, something else that's really simple is mint and cucumber. Mint and cucumber are cooling. And so this is a great summer herbed water. And, you know, if you ever, you know, in Ayurveda, we say that fire rises in the body like it does in a house. You know, so if something's on fire, it rises. So if you're, you know, red-faced and irritated, have a headache, feel overheated in your head, you know, like you get hot-headed, you want to think of drawing that heat out of, you know, that's when you know that there's too much heat, you know, and you need something cooling. And so the mint and especially cucumber is very hydrating. It's full of electrolytes, and it helps to cool the body, and it helps to pull the heat out of the head, or really anywhere in the body. It helps to calm the heat. And so this is a really good summer just to have in the kitchen. People come home, you come home at the end of the day, and you have that just sitting. So you just come home and that's just sitting there waiting for you, right? You put it up first thing in the morning. Yeah, so people come home and this is what's waiting for them, and they start drinking. And it, you know, even if dinner's in a half an hour or whatever, they've taken a drink. It's really good to get your liquid hydration in at least a half an hour before you start eating. Okay, so it really starts to increase the hydration, the liquid hydration factor in your house. And also you've got all the electrolytes. So some people, you know, they say, oh, I drink so much water and then I pee it all out. It's not just about drinking water, it's about getting electrolytes. And your fresh herbs and your fresh fruit are full of electrolytes to help your body actually use the water, use the liquid. Okay, so you see this, I'm just getting you started, but there, again, like think of what your favorite fruit is or what your seasonal fruit is, right? And so the other thing you can do, here's another, I have all kinds, like invest in some pretty pitchers, you know, just dispensing, ways of dispensing. And people are like, oh, that's nice. So let's see. The other one, you know, the colors. People, especially if you have family members that are just starting out, if you use colorful fruits, people are a little bit more attracted. So I'm going to put in some sliced strawberries and some oranges. And the fresh fruit, I'm going to, have you seen fennel? A lot of grocery stores carry fennel now, and it has kind of a sweet licoricey flavor that a lot of kids like, and so this tastes really good in water. It gives it kind of a sweet, you can use the leaf-like material, and you can just put a little bit of this in your water. Mint is also just a really big favorite, but I put a little bit of, I make a fennel water. There we go. And then you put a few orange slices and a few strawberry slices, and then they come into the kitchen and this is what's waiting for them. And, you know, like I said, at first they might just pass it by, and then after a while, it's like, if you do it for a while and then you don't do it, they're kind of like, where's the water? You know, but this is just a really nice way to get people used to having herbs around, like that they can see in the kitchen every day. And over time, this level, increasing the in-between the meal hydration, is really, really good for your health. So I hope that you'll bring some herb waters into your kitchen.